Hey, everybody, this is your Cash Dad back, and we are going to be talking about Civ 7. As you can probably see from the title, we are going to be talking about the leaders and state of the game, and not typical kind of video, just going to have some gameplay in the background while we chit-chat from a recent playthrough I did. So with almost 400 hours in the game already, I try to reserve a lot of thoughts and comments and stuff until having fully explored the game. Now, I've played most civilizations and played against all of them at some point. And so I'm going to start with my thoughts on the Civ leaders and the memento system and all that. To me, there's a handful of leaders that they're great no matter what. They're even better when they have good synergies with their civs, but they're great no matter what. Some of the mementos just make things extra overpowered, like the wampum belt that you get from unlocking in Tecumseh with +1 production for every city-state you're suzerain of. That's what I did in my Catherine game here in the Antiquity Age, and I played on the largest map possible as Greece, and I took the wampum belt and a diplomatic point so that I could quickly get to cheaper befriend actions, and then Greece also has cheaper befriend actions. And so instead of doing 170, it went down to 114, and then down to something like 68 or 72 or something, I can't remember, to befriend a city-state. And so then I was able to befriend all of them. I was able to take away the other ones because it is also for increasing support. It's like I fought Harriet Tubman for a couple city-states and beat her out because my extra support still didn't equal what she had to put in for her city-state. I did all that because of the wampum belt giving me production, so I ended up having, looking at the mini-map here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I probably had like 8 or 9 city-states I was suzerain of, and that's 9 extra production in every city. So that's insane. I had 3-4 cities, so 9 production. That's better than your 2 late Antiquity Age production buildings in the same tile with 2 resources. It's hard to get more than 2 resource adjacency, and so it's better than both of those on one tile when you do it. I mean, even if I didn't play as Greece, still the fact that that happens. And then on top of that, the bonuses that you get from city-states. So it's kind of going into a new thing. The city-state suzing, I think they had it better in Civ 6. This one with the... I don't know why you would ever not take free Civic and free tech, especially if you're playing on higher end difficulties. It just gets you caught up to the deity AI and ahead so fast. There's no reason not to do that. And then as you see here, I'm stealing Seekers from Ashoka. And so I'm getting civics and techs from city-states. I'm stealing civics and techs. Like, super easy. Honestly, like, it's easier to steal and less repercussions and stuff than in Civ 6. Because at least in Civ 6, you had to build your spies out. I feel like that's what you should do for your espionage. You should have to build your spies out. You can do some basic stuff like, surveying and counter spying, but to actually do something, I think you need to build out the spies. Because I know they did some tweaks to the diplomacy and spying and stuff, but it's still too powerful. If you play your cards right and you do everything right, like, diplomacy is still the way to go. Production, diplomacy, then it doesn't matter. You can win the game however you want. In this game, I ended up winning a scientific victory just because I was going for the highest science score I could get. But I could have won culture or economic way sooner if I had felt like it, like in just a few turns of the modern age. And so it needs some balancing issues. There's a few civs because I've played all the leaders. So let me start with leaders first. All the leaders, they can be overpowered if you double down. You take Frederick, for example, since he's on the screen, and then you take his mementos that basically double his own abilities, and now he's double as powerful, or maybe mix and match a little bit. Something. It doesn't matter. Like it, the mementos just, I think, I know what they're going for, to make the game like a little more replayable. But I feel like the mementos are too strong. You either need... It almost feels like the mementos need to be separate from the leaders. Because, so like, for instance, Ada Lovelace with her extra science and culture, well then when she does science and culture with her G note that she then turns into production for the capital, like, that just becomes a little bit extra. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I just feel like overall, and I was talking to some people in the Civ Discord, it just feels too easy. I mean, on Civ 5, very difficult. I barely won Deity. Also, I didn't play Civ 5 as much. Civ 6, I got to where I was decent at Deity. I could beat it under 250 turns regularly if I really tried hard. But in this game, I got to 7,000 science and I wasn't even trying. By the end of the modern age, I was just throwing buildings down and just waiting for the science victory to get to me. Also, it feels a little... The victories themselves feel a little underwhelming. And I know people have said that before, but I've withheld my judgment because, like I said, I went to play a whole bunch and figure it out. I do like... I'll get to why it's underwhelming, but before that, I do like that you can mold yourself more to the game. So, like, if you start off, and I've had games like this before, like my Mina game, that I just want to build an economic powerhouse. But the AI all around, I didn't do a good job with my diplomacy, but also they just decided to attack me, and I had to switch out and do Bulgaria in the Middle Ages to fight and pillage my way back to some semblance of being able to hold my own, and then eventually I got ahead and I played as Prussian and I won a victory anyways. So I like that aspect, that it's more easy to switch up your game plan. However, it still makes things it still cheapens the victory. Okay, I know that the more legacy points you have, the cheaper it is to do the victory, which gives you incentive to focus the whole time. But it goes back to my point about the game feeling easy. Like, it feels so easy that even if I didn't focus the military at all, like maybe I just got 1 point per age to not have a dark age, and then people turned on me, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go Gandhi Civ 6 and nuke everybody, and I do that, and then I win a military victory at the very last because I'm so far ahead. It doesn't even matter, and so that's why I think it feels cheap, because in Civ 6, you had to, for the most part, you had to go into the game with a game plan. Now, you didn't have to if you were willing to spend somewhere between 350 and 500 turns to win the game. But if you wanted to get it done in under 350 turns, like, you went in with a game plan of like, okay, well, you're going to do science victory, which means you're going to do these certain actions, and you could switch it up, or you did culture victory, or if you had a specific culture victory type in mind, you had certain things you had to do, and you had to start them early, you had to commit to them, and you had to see them through. You had to make sure your pantheon aligned. You had to make sure everything aligned to that. So while I do like the ability to mold myself to the game. Like Civ 6 still had that. Like if somebody attacked you mid-game, like you had to pause and go fight, you could still pillage and get resources and come back and then focus on what you're doing for your victory condition. You didn't have to stop that and go do something else. So I feel like it in some ways has cheapened the victory conditions. It's been too easy. I know people have complained about oh, you just build this wonder, or the economic banker just moves around and then the game's over. And I think they honestly, they kind of forget, like, okay, in Civ 6, you were building things, and then you did projects over and over, which a bunch of projects end up being the price of a wonder to win the science victory, or you had to go and unlock a whole bunch of dig sites and trade and everything or had a combination of things. You could use your rock bands, or you could have preserves, or you could focus only rock bands, only preserves. Like there's combinations, but you're still doing the same thing over and over. Versus here, it's just like it just encapsulated in like one thing at the end. So it feels like it's less, but it's really like you're still doing the same work. You just don't realize it. Military victory is definitely much easier, because before you had to capture their capital. Now it's just like, oh, you just take some cities, which, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like you don't have to win militarily by taking their capital. You need to win the war. Okay, well, how do you win the war? Well, you take land from people. You raise cities or you take cities. So that makes sense, but that still feels cheap at the end of, okay, I need to take 10 cities, maybe 8 cities, 7 cities, depending on ideologies, and then I can launch a nuke. Like that feels a little cheap, especially if you set it up from the get-go to you have everybody on your main island's your friend, or maybe everybody on this island's your friend, and then you just fight one person, take out all their cities. Like in this game, Augustus has 11 cities. If I just take Augustus out of the game, I win the military victory, or whatever, something like that. I think in this game, Ibn Battuta didn't have any allies, so if I take him out 9 cities, nobody's going to help him. I'm obviously overpowered, like, yeah. So, I don't know. Come back here, so you have to look at that. It seems cheapened, and yeah, as I said with the Civ leaders, they're overpowered. And then some of the Civs, I feel like some of the Civs just not worth playing. Like, I don't even try to min-max, but there's such a disparity of good Civs versus okay Civs, depending on what you want to do in the game. That is, like, I'm gonna eventually play all the Civs so that I can say I've played all the Civs, but having played all the leaders, some of the Civs, I'm just like, I don't want to play you. Like, it just doesn't, like, I don't want to use half of their abilities. If I'm not going to use half their abilities, why am I wasting my time playing them when I can play somebody else that have fully used their abilities, right? And it's just not even necessarily about playstyle, because there's some Civs that are good at food and happiness. I don't want to play them. There's some that are good at military. I don't want to play them, even though if you've seen any of my other videos, I don't particularly like doing military. I just want to sim, but I'll do it, and I'm okay at it. But there's some Civs I don't want to play them. There's culture Civs, science Civs. Like, I'm thinking about like Ming, like any of the Chinese Civs. Like, I played one of them in a Ada game, but it just felt okay. Like, I don't know. There's just some Civs maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments what you think. But there's just some Civs I'm just like, okay. And it's not even me trying to min-max. It's just the way the game feels. And so it just is interesting. I'm going to release some more videos about things about Civ 7 while I try to think of something next to play. I'm thinking about doing some sort of like pirate theme game. So we'll see how that turns out. I may do a pirate theme game in Civ 6 and then Civ 7. I'm gonna keep playing it because I like it. It's just I'm gonna have to spend more time figuring out what I'm gonna do in the game because it's too easy to beat the daily AI. I know there's a mod out there that makes the AI a lot harder, so I'm gonna try that one out and see if that provides a challenge. But yeah, I mean, if you've always had problems with Civ, now like get in. This game will help you love Civ because it is much easier. Yeah, I think for me, it's not a specific feature thing. I love how the game plays. Like I love the buildings. I love the age transition, even though a lot of people hate it. I like almost everything. I don't like some of the diplomacy. I wish there's more. I wish I could stop traders from coming in. Like they had to get my approval for certain trader routes. Like I wish, same thing for religious units, that I could, excommunicate them. I could go to war like in Civ 6 and then kick them out. Like I wish there's a few other things you could do diplomatically. But for the most part, the game itself, I like all the mechanics. I just think as I said before, the city states are overpowered. Take the free civics, free text out of the game. I think that's the biggest thing. Take those out of the game. Maybe increase the cost more of civics and texts on the upper difficulties, so that going from one tier to the next is more costly. And I'm sure there'll be more balances and stuff like that. But like even the attributes. By the end of this game, because I've done feature tech and civics so many times, I'd clicked to increase my science by 5% 11 times. So like that's insane. And I'd done culture a few times, and then for alliances I'd done it like 3 or 4 times. And so I like the attribute tree because it adds a little something specific so you can mold yourself to the game. I don't know that I necessarily agree with the wild card every time you get a future civic. I mean, I'm sure they didn't imagine people would hit that 11 times in a game, but yeah, definitely need some balancing issues. Some civs are just not worth playing, and the other ones, it's like, why would you play anything else? Especially at this food patch, like, why would you play anything other than a growth civ? And like, I'm not even min-maxing here, right? It's just obvious in the beginning, because like the whole game, this is a game about setting up an engine and making it as efficient as possible to get the most out for the least in. Now, my background's engineering, so this might be why it's easier for me. It makes more sense, because that's what engineers do. We are natural min-maxers without trying. But so here is what you do. You get food and you get production in the Antiquity Age. You get 4 to 6 cities and secure your Golden Age, which is not hard. You get 4 or 6 cities by trading and being smart with your adjacencies. Which science and production need resource adjacencies. Everything needs wonders, but resource adjacencies. Everything else needs mountains and natural wonder adjacencies. Your gold buildings need water adjacencies. So just maximize that, and then hit 5, 6 cities. Go into the exploration age. You get those cities back for free with the golden age. And now you've got a ton of population, you've got a ton of production, and even with the rubber banding, you're still on par or or better than the AI. And in this video, you can spike. I've spiked 4x my yields in under 30 turns. So even if I was behind, like I would be so much more ahead. But I mean, right here, I'm already 3-4x the AI, and I just go up even more. Like I end up being 10x the AI before it's all said and done. And that's without trying. So there's definitely some balancing issues, because if you do that, you have your set up your growth and your production, and then you go into your exploration age. Then you just kind of focus on how you want to win. This military, that's the best time to start taking people out of the game, in my opinion. AI is really bad at naval, so just find as many places you can attack navally, and do that. Take them out of the game. Or culture, you can double down. Like this exploration age is where you make your choice, and then you can just beeline that and you get ahead. And then modern age is just really a matter of just mopping up the requirements so that you can complete the game. It's not even really that difficult most of the time in modern age, because you have that good base, the good engine. So overall, I love the game. I'm still going to keep playing it. Maybe not play it as much. I'm going to sprinkle in some other videos. I'm definitely going to do more help videos for people. Working on a wonder video, not necessarily a wonder tier list, because it varies so much depending on what you want to do, because the wonders are not as wonderful as Civ 6, I would say. Like they're not as imposing on the map. They're not as hard to get. Because like I said before, production and food early on, it just scales you to the moon and back. So they're not that great. And so, well, they're great. They're just not that wonderful. So I'm not really going to do a tier list. I'm just going to go through talking about them, giving ideas of like when to build them, when not to build them, which ones to focus on especially in the antiquity age. Because there's a lot of times the ones that give extra attribute points or resource slots, whatever, that I don't get, and I still completely dominate the AI. And so before it was like you needed, and I've seen videos where people try to make it out to be this way. Before, you needed to get certain ones to really have the easiest time doing certain victory conditions. But you don't need them now. People want to talk about Oxford University still, but you don't need that. There's not really. You could go after Antiquity Age and not build another wonder and still win the game, which in my mind is crazy. Wonders are supposed to be make or break. You could build all the wonders and not win a game if you didn't play well. So yeah, it's just my opinions. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I appreciate you guys for joining in with this little chit chat about Civ 7. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.